So, have you ever wondered the origin of roller coasters? Well, guess what? I have your answer. Roller coaster amusement rides have origins back to slides constructed in the 18th century in Russia. Early technology featured sleds or wheeled carts that were sent down hills of snow reinforced by wooden supports. The technology in the 19th century featured railroad tracks using wheeled carts that were securely locked to the track. You see, if they didn't attach the cart to the tracks, you would have gone flying. Newer inventions came out in the early 20th century with side friction and under friction technologies to create a chance to make greater speeds and sharper turns on the roller coaster. By the mid to late 20th century, these things intensified with the new idea of steel roller coaster designs and the ability for them to invert riders. So there's that. Now you know where roller coasters came from. How do all roller coasters work? What you may not realize as you're down a roller coaster track at 60 miles an hour is that the roller coaster has no engine. The roller coaster cart is pulled to the top of the first hill at the beginning of the ride, but after it goes down that, it must complete the ride by itself unless there's another hill that it needs to be pulled on. It is only pulled at the second hill if it was built like that, which they usually aren't. But other than that, it doesn't have anything to pull it or an engine. Potential energy to kinetic energy is what gets the roller coaster around the track. All the kinetic energy you need for the ride will come from the first hill. So as you can hear, roller coasters are pretty awesome. Have you ever thought are roller coasters dangerous? Nothing is completely safe. The ride is always safer than it feels. So as long as the people keep running the ride, keep their eyes on the ride, and the riders don't do anything bad, you should be safe. Some people can actually cause an accident that only involves them. They try to stand up on the ride while it is moving, which can give them an unpleasant ride to the hospital in an ambulance. You've probably always wondered this. How do you test a roller coaster to see if it's safe? Roller coasters are tested in many different ways. Once, a man used sandbags, but after they flew off, nobody wanted to test it except the owner. So that means that people sometimes use things first then they use the employees from the park to test it out. You have to be careful when testing a roller coaster. Like I said about the sandbags, they probably flew off because they were too light. If you don't use something heavy enough, your testing may not work, which can cause a delay to open the ride. It may cause a delay because they might think something is wrong with the ride and try to fix it, but there is nothing there to fix. This may lead to an accident if they adjust it and the object doesn't fly up. When testing a roller coaster, use heavier objects than sandbags. Have you ever thought where are the most intense roller coasters in the world? Well, there are a bunch of cool roller coasters all around the world, but nobody has the same opinion, so you'll never find a 100% answer for this question. But one of them is Formula Rossa. It zips around at 150 miles an hour. Another one is Steel Dragon 2000. To build it, it cost more than $50 million. They needed more steel because it was built in Japan, so they need to take earthquake precautions. Another one is Fury 325. It places in part of the world's fastest roller coasters. What causes a roller coaster to break down? Rain, high winds, or even hot or cold weather can mess with the system of a roller coaster. Many computer systems will stop a ride through sensors if something is wrong. It will know if it's traveling too fast or slow. They have to make sure everything is working correctly. Every roller coaster might break down, and you can never tell when it will. You just have to be careful. It can break down because of its speed. It is going too fast that almost might guarantee an accident. Sometimes you can't figure out why they break down, but it can cause a serious injury or death. Sometimes you can find the problem, it depends on the situation. Can an accident cause a ride to close? it can cause a ride to close. Actually, a ride was built wrapping around the top of a building, and it had to close because there was an accident. But also, they can work on the problem and reopen the ride after testing. Like in Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida. There was an accident on the Hollywood Rip Ride rocket. They had to close it while they found the problem. After they found the problem and fixed it, they reopened the ride. It can be as simple as that. Who designs a roller coaster? Roller coasters have to be designed very carefully. They are designed by very skilled engineers. You have to have discipline. If not, you may not be able to design roller coasters. You have to be very smart and good with numbers. I hope you enjoyed learning about roller coasters.